We're back at it with another video, and this one's going to go over how to utilize prop firms when you're trading futures. So going into understanding funded accounts, evaluations, and there are growth opportunities with certain accounts that you can use. So if you guys have specific questions about a certain prop firm, I've been doing this over 5.5 years. I've used quite a few prop firms. So drop it down in the comments if you want me to go over in detail certain prop firms and break it down. So getting into this, if you're brand new, you have no idea what a prop firm is, it's a proprietary trading firm. That means you are using somebody else's capital to take trades on. So you're paying an entry fee, essentially a small cost of entry to access 25,000, 50,000, 150,000. There's obviously larger accounts depending on which prop firm you choose, and you're not putting out very much risk, right? You're not the one with a 25K account of your own capital. You're using the prop firm's capital. So this is just a larger scale way to do this without putting your own money out there, which is incredible. This was not around when I first started. So there was a few, but they were really expensive. So the benefits of using a prop firm, I know that you guys can all see this listed here, but first and foremost, the biggest thing when using these prop firms is at the end of the day, it's going to make you the most disciplined trader and make you have to follow rules in order to get payouts. So I want to say that first and foremost, doing these prop firms is going to give you the discipline you need to be successful. So again, we already talked about this. Access to larger trading capital reduces your personal risk because you're not putting out $50,000. Professional trading environment, what does that mean, right? So when we look at these prop firms, we have access to Project X, or we have TradingView, or have NinjaTrader. They have integration into TradingView, things like that. So performance-based scaling opportunity. What does that look like? There are a few prop firms where you can have access to $1 million. You are in charge of $1 million, right? So being able to have the opportunity to even do that is pretty incredible in itself. And then focusing on risk management and discipline, going into the first thing I said, that is what the prop firms are building. They're building you as a trader because you have to follow these rules in order to get the full benefit out of it, which is obtaining a payout, right? So the evaluation process. Most prop firms require traders to pass your evaluation. So for instance, and I think I might have put it in here, but I can't remember now. So for instance, you have to, with a 50K account, generally reach a profit target of $3,000. They have a 50% consistency rule, meaning you could probably typically only get $1,500 in a day, 2-day pass, depending on the rules of the prop firm. So first things first, you have to meet a profit target. Second thing, not go past your drawdown. What happens when you go past your drawdown? Say you have $2,000 in drawdown. If you were to lose more than $2,000, that would require you to start over, meaning you would have to repurchase your trading whatever evaluation, or you would have to pay a reset fee depending on which prop firm you're with. So following those risk management rules, and then trading for a minimum number of days. So again, varying on the prop firm that you choose to go with, Take Profit Trader is 5 days regardless. Like even if you were to hit the profit target in 2 days, you still have to trade 5 days, which could look like the 2 days making profit target. The next 3 days could be you opening and closing a micro contract. I've done this. I know people who have done this and it works. Or there's other prop firms that it's a 2-day minimum. Tradeify 1 day pass. So all with what you go with. Okay, here's example. I did put it in here. Example evaluation. So profit target 3,000, daily loss. Most, I will say most lately have had a daily loss limit. This means that if you lose $1,000, then this is a soft breach. It does not mean you blow your account. It just means you can no longer trade on that specific day. You have to wait until the next trading session, and then you will be able to trade again. Maximum drawdown, anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500. The drawdown is what you can lose. So If you lose more than whatever the drawdown is, then that is where you will have to incur another fee for restarting your evaluation. And then 5 days, and then everything, read your details carefully. Go into the FAQ section. If you have questions, if you're not understanding something, reach out to, the help center. If nobody's getting back to you, drop it in the comments here. I'm happy to help with any of that. So this is some of the popular prop firm accounts. You guys can go into Google and look at some of these. I might put down below some of my codes or some of the discounts on here. Big Profit Trader, that's the 5 days. Apex, you can pass in 1 day. They do have trailing drawdown. Top Step is a 2-day minimum as well too, because they do have a 50% consistency rule. My Funded Futures has several different accounts, so depending on which one you get. And then Funding Ticks, similar, they have a 30% consistency rule, so I believe that it's a 3-day minimum. And then they also have 2 other options. I think they have an instant funding now, and then they have a Grow account, which I think is a 1-day pass as well. So make sure that you are reading in full the FAQ and you have a full understanding of, if you were to go with any of these prop firms, when are you getting paid? How are you getting paid? What are the rules behind it? Is there a consistency rule once you are funded that you must stay within? Is there a certain number of days that you must follow in order to get the payout? Is there a certain amount of money you have to make? All of these things will help you, start to understand things you want and don't want in a prop firm. You want to wait 12 days, 14 days for a payout? Probably not. You want to pay out every day? Sure, right? Is that something, though, that you can do right now? Are you disciplined enough to be in the headspace that if I get an account with Take Profit Trader, I pass it? Can I not YOLO into trades with the idea that I'm going to get a payout if I reach my buffer? They require a buffer. So if you had a 50K account, it's equivalent to your drawdown. We'll just say 25K account, I know it's $1,500. You would have to make $1,500 once you were funded. So you're making a 1,500 profit target. The drawdown's also 1,500 in this case. Then you would have to, so 1,500 to be funded, would have to make your drawdown as your buffer, and then anything over that $1,500 would yours to keep 80% of it until you are moved to Pro Plus. Once you are in Pro Plus, you then get 90%, and the drawdown changes from intraday to end of day. So nice thing there. Apex, very similar. They require a buffer. They call it a safety net. It is equivalent to your drawdown plus $100. So I think for the 50K account, it was $2,600. And then anything above that, and you have to trade, I believe it was 7 days of $50 or more. Maybe it was 8 days. I'd have to look back at that and do a full rundown on these. But Top Step, again, they have their own set of rules. So cost and fees. There is a monthly subscription fee for your evaluation. A lot of people get tripped up with this. So with the monthly subscription, say that you pass within the first week, that monthly fee goes away. There is no longer a monthly fee. But say that it's been a month, you have not passed, your account is still in good standing, you then will be rebilled if there is a subsequent month that you are still trying to pass the evaluation. But if you pass it within that first month, you've paid the evaluation or the subscription, it goes away, and there could possibly be an activation fee. Top Step does require activation fee. Top Step, or excuse me, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, and Funding Ticks do not have activation fee. Apex, Top Step, and there's one other one. They do have activation fees. So pay close attention to that, because you want to know the true cost to have a funded account, right? Are you paying way too much? Are you, what works for you? And we can get into that. If you guys have comments, again, leave them. And then the profit split. So commonly 80-20, 80 in your favor or 90 in your favor. So the prop firm is keeping 10% of what you make or 20%, depending on the account. So succeeding with the prop firm. So really how to succeed with this is to really understand the rules and live by those rules and try not to break them. Sometimes it's inevitable. Everybody's been there, I'm sure, blown up accounts. I think it's just part of the learning curve. You have to do it in order to know how to not do it, right? And then consistency and not fast profits. I know that it sounds so alluring to be like, okay, well, I can just make $10,000 today and pull out 8,000 because I know I get 80%, right? But that is not the name of this game. It is not a get rich quick. It is not the end all be all. Like, little wins are going to add up to the big profits. So trading with discipline and risk management, keep a journal and track your performance, and then start small and scale up as you gain. So starting small meaning like starting with one contract, then once you're at a certain level, starting to go to 2 contracts, whatever that looks like for you. Journaling also has been a caveat for a lot of people on my team, a lot of traders I've talked to. If you are not somebody that is comfortable just writing stuff down, like that is just not you, never been like that, think of other options you could do. A video journal, making little videos of yourself of the breakdown of the trade you took, making voice memos for yourself. Anything you can do to kind of remember, like, why did I take the trade? Why did I get, in? Why was I getting out? What were my emotions like? Those are all things that you want to do to try to keep yourself in check and not, you know, get into these positions where you automatically just close a trade and then you're like, what was I doing? Why did I do that? Just trying to fully understand the thought process behind each trade you take, because the subsequent trades after that start to get easier if you really start to understand how you tick as a trader. So here is an example with a funded account trading one ES contract. So ES moves 5 points in your favor, that's $250 profit, right? If it moves 5 points against you, you're losing $250. Why? Because one ES contract equates to $50 per point that it moves. So looking at this and having the proper risk management and understanding where your drawdown is, right? Understanding your drawdown. If you don't understand your drawdown and you guys need a more in-depth video on that, I did make one on it, but understanding fully, like, how many times can you lose with the stop loss you choose to trade with? How many times could you lose before you blow your account? Those are little things that you need to figure out along the way to understand where you're going and how you're going to get there, right? So understanding that, and then risks of trading with the prop firm. So yes, obviously with trading, there's always risk, right? We are accepting this risk when we take on a trade, when we get into any kind of market conditions. So the strict rules, sometimes people can, and let's just be transparent and blunt here, some people sometimes just think they are extremely scammy, or their rules just don't make sense. They just want people to lose. And it's like, at the end of the day, there's people getting payouts, right? So you have to look within yourself and ask yourself, what am I not doing that they're doing? How do you recreate their success? And it's because they're following the rules. They're being very disciplined. They're showing up for themselves. They're putting in the work, right? If I can do this, so can you. If 20-year-old boys on the internet can do it, so can you. Sorry not to call you out, 20-year-old boys. You're crushing it, though. And then pressure to perform. This is a tough one. I think just as human beings, right? Whatever it is in our lives, whether that be relationships, school, friendships, anything, it causes an emotional response within us to perform a certain way. And when we don't, then we're upset with ourselves, right? I think we can all relate to that on some level. Trading's the same way. So being able to accept that sometimes it's not going to work out, right? And that's really hard, I think, nowadays, especially with like the instant gratification idea of everybody wants, and we see flashy numbers, we see social media portraying this idea of, these people are just making millions and millions of dollars when, you know, we need to be happy with maybe it was a few $100 win today. Maybe it was a few $100 loss, and walking away and understanding that there is another trading day tomorrow and not putting ourselves under so much emotional pressure. So that can be a hindrance when it comes to prop firms because of the strict rule following. But the more you do it, the more you open yourself up to the idea that you can do this and you just have to follow the rules, you will get to the point where it becomes profitable for you. And then doing your research and your due diligence when it comes to looking at these prop firms, making sure they're reputable, making sure maybe people are actually speaking about them, making sure people have potentially posted that they've gotten payouts for them, talking to somebody who's actually received a payout into their bank account, right? Until it hits your bank account, it is not real. So making sure that you're doing the right research, and we didn't go over this, but evaluation fees can add up quickly, right? So just making sure that you're not you're following a strict set of rules for yourself, and even setting like, I'm not gonna max this credit card out, that was it, and then maybe going back to the drawing board. So those are some of the risks that can come with trading on prop firms. And then let's see, what did I do? Oh, so maximizing prop firm opportunities. So there's a lot of ways to do this. And one of those that I want to touch on a little bit is that you can have multiple prop firm accounts. There is a way to do this, and I don't recommend anybody do it until you have a proven strategy that works for you consistently, that you can rinse and repeat, and that you have your emotions in check. Because there is certain things that you have to have. Like we can see here, the discipline, the consistency, and strong risk management. If and when you have those things, the sky is the limit, right? How many can you trade? And it's it's a fine line, I would say, because there's certain things that go into these prop firms. Apex, for instance, you can have up to 20 accounts, but be under the understanding have to pay for the activation fee for 20 accounts. So maybe it's you start with one or two, and then from those payouts, then go and reinvest into paying all those activation fees. Top step, you can have 5 accounts. Again, you have to pay activation fees. Big profit trader, you again can have 5 accounts and there's no activation on those, but until you make it to Pro Plus account, you have intraday trailing drawdown. Some people don't like that. So just really understanding where you can go with this, and that the sky is the limit, and the only person at the end of the day holding you back is yourself and your lack of discipline when it comes to trading. So getting really disciplined, getting really consistent, and understanding your risk management. And I just have to throw this in here, that trading comes with risk, and I'm not a professional financial advisor, anything like that. This is for educational purposes only, but make sure you guys like this video, comment down below what prop firm you want to see next on the channel. I'm going to do a full breakdown for you guys, and then make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video.